Catwoman number 8, written by Judd Winnick, art by Adriana Mello. We left off last issue with Catwoman meeting up with some sort of superpowered meta guy who has electricity powers. His name is Spark, and now they're buddies. And I say that literally because apparently an entire month has passed, and they've just been doing heists together, and they're both really good at it. So they break into this super high tech place that has a whole bunch of sensors and alarms and stuff like that. It's got so many security things. And it turns out that the only way in is through the grate on the bottom side of the pool. So that's how they get in. And for some reason, Selena is wearing her Catwoman helmet, her goggles and all that, but she has a Catwoman-themed bikini on as she's stepping out of the pool. I know it's just fan service, but that one really confused me. Especially because then she's putting on her normal suit. It's just like, well, why bother at that point? Regardless, Spark gets to work shutting down the entire security system because all he has to do is use his electricity powers to short circuit whatever. So he blasts the stuff, and then they make their way into what I can only call like the armory room of this place, because it's filled up with a collection of ancient armors and swords and knives and shields and blah blah blah. And as they step into the room, they're like, all right, we're here for one thing and one thing only, so let's see if we can find it. And they find a set of daggers called the Daggers of Aves, and apparently it's a set of 5 daggers, but this collection here only has 4 of them, and it's only really worth selling if you have all 5. Also, it really purposely lingers on the hilt of the daggers, and they have owls on them, so keep that in mind. Regardless, apparently him overloading the security system with electricity set off some other sort of alarm, and other guards come in and say freeze, and they start firing. But of course, Catwoman and Spark make their escape, and she's like, I'm having fun. This guy is fun. He's able to keep up. No one's ever been able to keep up, really. So yeah, no, it's a good time. So they ponder about where the 5th dagger could be until finally Catwoman's like, all right, I think I know. And where is it? It is with the Penguin. So we see her talking to Gwen back at Gwen's place, and basically just trying to break down the story of, yeah, he has it, and if we steal it from him, we can get all 5 daggers, and then, you know, we're good to go. And she's like, is this good intel? And she's like, yeah, it's good. And he's like, you sure you can trust that friggin' Spark guy? And it's like, he's good. He's a good guy. It's like, he's a thief. Yeah, but he's a good guy. And Gwen's all in. She's like, yeah, no, the payday on these knives is so worth it. We definitely need to do this. So let's go ahead and try to rob Penguin. So apparently Catwoman has someone on the inside of this restaurant the Penguin frequents every once in a while. And because he orders so off menu, they actually need a day's notice in advance of when he's going to show up. So they know for a fact Penguin's going to be in this restaurant in a day. So they're setting up a whole plan of like how they're going to do this thing. And as Spark and Catwoman are, I want to say, almost flirting, because she consistently says how cute he is. It's pretty, it's not quite as overt as like the Batman Catwoman stuff from earlier, but it is there. But regardless, as they're doing that, Selena happens to look down and sees Hooker coming up to a van and being very scared looking, and Spark is like, so what? It's a hooker in a van. Like, that's not our business. But as she sees the hooker getting trank-darked and then dragged into the van, Catwoman intervenes and says, like, all right, here we go. And the guy in the van pulls out these big-ass guns, starts firing on Catwoman. And Spark, he's like, all right, guess I'll help then. And he comes in, uses electricity powers to basically blow up the van, more or less. Just make it so it doesn't run anymore, and then scare the guy. And as the guy pulls out a gun, Catwoman uses her whip, gets it out of his hand, and then he throws a grenade behind him into the van where the woman is. And she's like, oh, Jesus, what do we do? Spark, help! So Spark gets in there, grabs the woman, they both make it for cover, and the van explodes. So then we cut over to Catwoman and Spark talking to a couple of other streetwalkers, and they're just asking questions of like, what's going on here. And they're like, a bunch of us have been disappearing. Our pimps aren't like protecting us. The cops don't care. They're just leaving, and then like we can't do anything else. And Catwoman's like, why don't you guys go to a different street? She's like, this is our different street. This is happening all over town. And Spark, who really, really doesn't seem to like them being streetwalkers, like at all. He's like, why don't you guys find a different job? And they're like, yeah, no, I'll just go ahead and get my realtor license. Thanks for your input, buddy. So we see later on outside in the alley that Catwoman's like, we should probably help them. And Spark just tells her like, what? A, that's not our business, but B, even if we wanted to, what could we even do right now? And Catwoman says, well, nothing tonight, but maybe tomorrow. But for now, we need to plan on the Penguin job. And then we get a one-page thing here of the Court of Owls, because yes, this next month is going to be a tie-in to the Night of the Owl story. And it's just a bunch of Court of Owls members just sitting around being like, ah, yes, for those of you who haven't been reading Batman, we are the Court of Owls and we run this city and we're going to attack the people who get in our way. And one person who consistently gets in our way is, slaps down a picture, the Penguin. So, yeah, their job tomorrow night's going to line up with most likely the Talon attacking Penguin. So I feel like Spark is a little bit rushed in terms of, oh, he's such a great guy and now he's around and you never ever have to worry about him ever doing anything wrong or anything like that. But it's fine because from a meta standpoint, I know where we're going to end up. Like, I know that Spark's just a temporary thing. He isn't being set up as a long-term companion. So I'm okay with that, but it does make it just a little bit less of all the things that Selina's saying, both in narration boxes and to Gwen, saying how, no, he's totally cool and he's great and he's definitely not going to betray us. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's fantastic. So art's good. Still not quite what the first arc was. I feel like that one had a real pop to it. This one is imitating it, but it doesn't quite have everything there, but it is still good. It's an okay issue. It's not fantastic. It's not blowing me back. It's just an okay issue. And I do like how they are setting up this thing with Selina and the hookers, because it's something. It's a different side that isn't really played with that much, and it's something that is interesting to see given Selina's backstory, or whatever her backstory may be in this continuity. So overall, I'm going to give this one I'll give it a 6. 6.5. 6.5 sounds right. 6.5 for that, and we will see with the tie-in next month.